So it's come to this.
The Thunder is under the hood of Dennis Setzer.
All season long. 2 trucks.
Ted Musgrave has been lightning quick.
2 teams.
2 drivers.
A couple of Truck Series veterans.
2 final races.
1 champion.
1 champion.
I remember 2003.
They are going to black flag Ted Musgrave for that move right there.
Look at Dennis Setzer.
I remember 2004.
Bobby Hamilton reclaims the top spot over Dennis Setzer in the points race.
2005 is my year.
My year.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series invades the desert for race number 24.
Only 2 races remain. The race for the championship is heating up in the desert tonight. Speed Channel's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series pre-race show is presented by Craftsman. Beautiful evening for racing. Phoenix, Arizona. We're at the Phoenix International Raceway. The temperature beginning to fall now at 72 degrees out and clear. Top 10 point standings. 4 mathematically still have a chance at this title. Significantly, we look at the 9th place person right now. Jack Sprague moved into 9th. In every year that he has competed in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, he has finished in the top 10.
2005, we've had 15 different winners, and that ties a record from 1998. But here's the good news, folks. There's still 2 races remaining. And tonight here at Phoenix, I believe we could add another name to that list. One of those names on that possible list would be Johnny Benson, and you've got a great truck here tonight. It's been a long year, and we've kind of predicted. Actually, I picked you to win the championship. You let me down there a little bit, but I think if you'd get a win, that might redeem yourself.
Well, we sure hope we could do that for you, Ray, for sure. And for everybody at Toyota certified used vehicles. But just everything's been going pretty good. You know, we finally got a new truck. That's been working great. This one here is new. It's never been raced, so it's so far that part of it's been looking good. And just everybody on the team's been doing a tremendous job. And hopefully we can go get a win for the Toyota Tundra also.
Okay, we hope you do it. That's Johnny Benson. He starts up front. Now let's check in with Wendy Venturini.
Jimmy Spencer's best finish of the season came right out of the box at Daytona. You finished 2nd, Jimmy, but you're still looking for that elusive first win this season. What do you have to do differently tonight to become the 15th different winner?
You know, Wendy, you said it right. You know, we come out of the box really, really good, and I'll tell you, you know, I thought that we could have won a lot of races this year, and here we are sitting at Phoenix, 2 to go, and haven't won any with the Team ASC Pork Dodge. Competition is tough, Wendy. I cannot believe how competitive the Truck Series is. But we're running good here. The same truck we had in New Hampshire ran really well. So a lot better qualifying spot. Hopefully we don't cut the right front tire down here, which I don't think we will. And but it's a lot harder than you think. We're running good, though.
All right, Todd Bodine, you might have to pay him back. He just gave you bunny ears on TV. Jimmy Spencer rolls off 7. Ray?
Hey, Wendy, the 2 guys we just talked to are people that would like to add their name to that list. Well, this guy's already on there because Brandon Witt got that great win at Memphis. You've been good on the short tracks and on the flat tracks, and here at Phoenix, you're on the pole. You got a good enough truck to win?
Yeah, I think so. I think our DW Boogie to Grill Toyota Tundra is real good tonight. You know, yesterday in practice, we struggled a little bit there in the first practice, not quite sure what was wrong, and then we stumbled across something, and man, it really helped us. So, you know, here we are on a short track, and our short track program's just been awesome. So hopefully we can keep it up in the top 5 and maybe bring home another win.
Kind of limited experience on this racetrack, though. Do you like this place?
Yeah, I do. You know, I started here in the Southwest Tour cars, so I got quite a few races here in those cars, but it's totally different coming here in a truck. But, you know, this whole Red Horse Racing team's just come together in the past few months, and, you know, to get a win, a couple poles, it's just amazing how far we've come in 2 years.
Well, good luck to you tonight. That's Brandon Witt. He is on the pole tonight here at Phoenix. Rick?
Well, the Truck Championship is taking center stage, and Dennis Setzer has an uphill battle in front of him for that championship.
To be in this option this close in the points race at the end, it's definitely my year. It'll be tough. It'll be tough all the way through.
Speed Channel's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series pre-race show is brought to you by Craftsman, celebrating 10 years tough of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. For Setzer to win the championship, he needs Ted Musgrave to falter. The past 2 seasons, Dennis Setzer has filled the runner-up role.
Whoa, crash off turn 4.
It's Dennis's to lose.
Big damage to the point leader.
2 years ago, we didn't even go into the race thinking it was an option to be that close in the points. Wound up right there in the championship hunt at Homestead. Last year, we thought, well, we got the option now. We got Silverado as a sponsor, and let's go do it, you know. And almost had it again.
As they come out of turn number 4, Dennis Setzer, short track slayer, is the winner at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
I know for a fact now you have to lose these things in order to know how to win them.
Good job, guys.
And every bit of Dennis's crew come out and high-fived me coming out of turn 4. And I remember Dennis coming out there, and that meant a lot to me because we raced hard. We never had words or anything, but we raced hard all year.
I feel like the last 2 years and this year's been my year, you know what I'm saying, to be this competitive and to be with a great team. To Morgan Dollar, you know, would solidify all the growth involvement they've done over the past quite a few years. It would be huge for Chevrolet also, with the new manufacturer coming in the division, to be in this option this close in the points race at the end. It's definitely my year. It'll be tough. It'll be tough all the way through.
Dennis Setzer will roll off his Chevy Silverado from 18th tonight. I know that's not the qualifying run you want, but you've got an awfully good race truck at this track.
It certainly is. You know, this is the best Silverado we've had in quite a few weeks right there. Pretty excited about that thing. It rolled out good in practice and unfortunately had a bad lap qualifying. They had those tour cars there, and about the first 10 qualifying really had a hard time, but these guys worked really hard on the Silverado. I'm proud of them.
Dennis, when I look at your stats at this racetrack, you've run 8 races here. 6 of those have been top 10s, but no laps led. I know you got to get this thing out front tonight. How are you going to do that?
Well, we really do need to get up front. You know, that's what's going to pay the dividends in the points for us tonight. And, you know, the truck's pretty good. I think it'll pass a lot of trucks. These guys always do a great job on pit road. You know, I know I'll get some spots out of that, and we'll just work hard.
Bobby Hamilton said in the little piece we just played that you've got to lose a championship before you can win one. You've lost a couple, so what do you got to do to get back in this fight in these next 2 races?
Well, I don't guess that's the scenario you got to do because we've lost a couple right there, but we're working really hard to win this one. You know, this Morgan Dollar Motorsports Silverado team's really done a great job to get us in this point this year and to get us in a position to do it once again. So I'm proud of these guys for the consistency they've showed over the years.
Go get him tonight. That's Dennis Setzer. He'll roll off 18th. Wendy?
We heard Rick Allen say that Ted Musgrave needs to falter in order to give up that championship lead that you have on Setzer right now. Musgrave, tell me about this track. This is a lot of driver input for a veteran like yourself. Why is this track needed?
Well, I think the track is kind of enticing as far as, you know, you want to run really hard in the corners, but getting in the corner really hard hurts your straightaway speed. So the guys that are veterans here realize that if you get easy in the corner and come off real hard, that's the fastest way around. And that's a handling track. You really got to get the thing handling well and turn in the center of the corner, come off hard. So guys that have been here a few years really know how to get around this place.
Okay, you're a veteran, but so is Setzer. It's a long shot, but it can be completed tonight. You can wrap up the championship. What's going through your mind right now?
Oh, that ain't gonna happen. I mean, I'd have to like lead all the laps, win the race, and Dennis would have to fall out and be. I mean, come on now. He's really good, and that team may even you know, win tonight. We don't know. We've got a good shot. Dennis has got a good shot, so it looks like we're gonna come right down to Homestead.
All right, Ted Musgrave taking a little reality check right before tonight's race. He rolls off 5th. Rick?
There's been 8 different winners at Phoenix International Raceway in the Truck Series, but Setzer or Musgrave have never claimed the top spot. Let's get pre-race activities continuing on. We go down to trackside for today's invocation and national anthem.
As the Westview High School U.S. Marine Corps Junior ROTC presents our nation's colors. Now please remain standing as Phoenix International Raceway Chaplain Ken Bowers delivers tonight's invocation.
Ladies and gentlemen, join me in a moment of thanksgiving. Our Heavenly Father, on Veterans Day 2005, we're filled with gratitude for freedom. We thank you for those brave men and women who have given their lives and who even today protect our liberty. And now on the running of the Chevy Silverado 150 at Phoenix International Raceway, this important part of NASCAR's Craftsman Truck Series, may it be blessed with safe racing. This we pray because we are so thankful in the name of our Lord, and everyone said, Amen. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, singing the national anthem tonight from Casino, Arizona's Showstoppers Live, a musical tribute to America's greatest superstars. Please welcome the Temptations.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light that so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free and the home of the brave?
It's Veterans Day, a day we salute the men and women who put their lives in harm's way to protect the freedoms we have become accustomed to. We say thank you to all of the American soldiers around the world, our true heroes.
And I spend my time with the pedal to the metal. Some people live their lives afraid of getting hurt, but I love the curve.
Welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Chevy Silverado 150 on Speed Channel. And welcome again to Phoenix International Raceway. I'm Rick Allen alongside of Phil Parsons and Michael Waltrip. Now with just 2 races remaining, only 63 points separate Ted Musgrave and Dennis Setzer. Phil, historically, can Dennis Setzer win this championship?
Well, Rick, only 5 times in the last 25 years of the Nextel Cup Series, all 23 years of the NASCAR Busch Series, and the entire 10-year history of the Craftsman Truck Series, has the champion not been leading the points with 2 races to go. And only once in all that time has a point champion overcome a deficit of more than 63 points. That was Alan Kowicki back in 1992. So things look really good for Ted Musgrave. But it's not horrible for Dennis Setzer either, because of the 10 years of the Craftsman Truck Series, 2 of those times did our eventual champion not lead the points with 2 races to go. So Dennis Setzer has a shot, and there's a lot of racing left to go.
Well, not only does Dennis Setzer have to worry about Ted Musgrave and Musgrave have to worry about Setzer, but they got to worry about the track. Michael, you just came off of there from practice on both the Cup side and the Busch side.
The track is great. You know, we were at Martinsville a couple of weeks ago, and there was only a couple of grooves, and they were low and lower. Here at Phoenix, you can spread out and race all over this racetrack. I almost won the Cup race here in the spring by running up high. The guy that eventually did win it, ran low. That's what race car drivers love. We talk about it all the time. We saw it at Atlanta. We saw a little bit of it at Texas, where they have options when they get to the corner. But we're going to tighten it up, Bill. We're going to make everybody be in a little bit tighter space. So look for some bumping and banging. They're comfortable with doing that at this racetrack, and it's going to be a great race. First time under the lights for the trucks here at Phoenix.
Right.
It's going to be fun.
And Wendy and Ted touched on it, that Ted could mathematically win this championship, but realistically, what has he got to do to cinch the championship for this year?
Well, Rick, if Ted Musgrave finishes 4th or better the last 2 races, there's absolutely nothing Dennis Setzer can do that will beat Ted Musgrave. He will be a NASCAR champion.
Very good. And as far as under the lights, how much does that affect them? I mean, we talked about the sun normally was an issue here, Michael.
Well, we've seen these trucks, and it's just blinding as you go down the front straightaway into turn 1. So that's not a factor. What is a factor is the practice was a little bit earlier in the day, so these guys will have that challenge that they're faced with. Plus, the qualifying got all messed up. The guys that went out early slipped all over the place. So it'll be interesting to see if somebody deep in the field can come to the front.
A lot of challenges face the competitors tonight, but let's get the engine started right now.
And now, race fans, to deliver those most famous words in motorsports, please welcome back our Grand Marshal, Jeff Chew.
Let's go Silverado Racing! Gentlemen, start your engines!
Only 2 races remain. The fans are here to watch some great truck racing, and it is about time for them to see that. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed Channel is brought to you by the new Chevrolets, an American revolution. By Craftsman, celebrating 10 years tough of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. By High Endurance Oils from Mobil, official lubricants of NASCAR. And by Zales. Be brilliant. We look at the Just for Men track description. Michael, you mentioned how difficult of a track this can be this evening.
Well, it's just it's a tighter oval than we saw last week at Texas. These guys are going to be in closer confines, and you know, Rick, you're not going as fast. The turns are flat. You're not going as fast, so that gives drivers extra confidence. They'll dive in there and know they can bank off of one another. The turns are relatively flat, but there's a lot of racing room out there, and I use Just for Men.
Yes, we'll look at the Just for Men race analysis. 36 trucks will again start 150 laps for this one.
At first, just under $500,000. Pit window is 80 to 90 laps. Last year, our eventual winner, David Starr, pitted twice. The year before that, Kevin Harvick won the race, and he only pitted once, so there could be some pit strategy coming to play.
No wonder I never know who's going to do what. They change it up every week, and DW uses Just for Men, too.
Let's look at our starting grid. Brandon Witt has won his second pole of the season. The first time he won at Memphis. He's looking to repeat that here tonight.
See, Todd Bodine, our most recent winner, won last week at Texas, starts outside row number 3.
Wow, he's on fire. Look for him to be tough here tonight, too.
Jack Sprague starts on the outside of row 4. His average finish at this racetrack in 12 races, 3.4.
Wow. Justin Hobgood gets a top 10 start outside row number 5 in his Toyota.
You see row 9 there. Joey Miller's back in Darrell's truck again this weekend, and there's Setzer. He said he got an early draw, thinks he's got a really fast truck. See if he can fight through the field.
Look inside row number 7. Bobby East makes his first ever career NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series start in one of Jack Roush's Fords. Good qualifying effort.
Chad Chapin's back, and there's Aaron Crocker making her first Craftsman Truck Series start in Bobby Hamilton's Dodge. She's going to be racing the whole schedule next year, so this gets her a little bit of a jump start to see what it's all about. Rudeman uncharacteristically way back, but again, some of these guys were victimized by the draw of qualifying. They had a practice session for the support series here this weekend, and they slicked up the track for some of these guys.
A little bit different rubber on those cars, and that's why all the drivers and teams said the racetrack was very slick when qualifying started.
And you see Schrader there starting last, but he won that race last night. He won the Southwest Tour race, and so he's got one in a row under his belt.
Well, he's part of the problem because he put some of that different rubber down on the racetrack.
Look at the drivers that missed the field. Kelly Sutton and Frank Wilson Jr. will not be in this one this evening. And having to go to the back, Chase Montgomery made some adjustments that were not allowed to be done after you impound the car or the trucks after qualifying. We'll be riding along with 4 different trucks. The first one being Ken Schrader in that Federated Auto Parts number 52. He'll start 36th.
Last. So we'll see everybody in the whole race if we look out Schrader's windshield. There's David Starr. He's been really strong lately. A couple of good runs as of late, and starting back in 24th.
Dennis, what a terrific year he's had. Had 4 wins early on, 4 out of 6 in a row, and he needs to get that thing back on track. He needs to get up front. I talked to him before the race. He says, we have a great shot at winning this race tonight.
Jack Sprague will also give us a interesting shot from his number 60 Toyota.
Trying to protect that third place finish average.
That's incredible.
That's wow.
And that's 11 or 12 starts. Oh, that's not 3 starts, you know.
Well, Brandon Witt up front, as I had mentioned, won $18,000 for winning from the pole back in Memphis. Well, the pool has now gone up to $20,000 for him here at Phoenix. So if Brandon Witt wins the race tonight, he will win $20,000 for his team. Let's go down trackside to Wendy Benarini.
Todd Bodine moved up to 3rd in points after last week's win in Texas. His truck is just as stout tonight, but more importantly, it's balanced. This track is a balancing act. With turns 1 and 2 having a little banking and 3 and 4 flat, it's important to have a balanced truck, and that's exactly what Todd Bodine has tonight, and it's going to be a key to winning. Ray?
Hey, Wendy, let's talk chassis a little bit for those 2 guys in the championship chase. Ted Musgrave has truck number 38. He really hasn't had that much luck with this truck this year. Actually, it has an average finish of 10.8 in 2005. Now, Dennis Setzer, on the other hand, he has chassis number 32. This truck has won 2 races this year and 2 second-place finishes. Yes, Setzer's deep in the field, but I look for that 46 truck to get to the front and make this championship hunt really interesting as we head to Homestead.
2 races to go. 63 points separate Ted Musgrave and Dennis Setzer.
That's just enough to mess up your night's sleep. What's going on here? Witt jumps the start a little bit.
Sure looked like it. Either he went earlier or Johnny didn't go. So Johnny's going to catch up and grab the second spot going into turn number 1. Look at Kyle Busch on the inside in the 15 truck.
He's on the gas hard, as we're accustomed to seeing. He drove well down underneath the yellow line in the turn to try to grab second away from Johnny Benson.
Side by side down the backstretch. And as you had mentioned, the 38 is going to be told that he needs to do a pass-through penalty for jumping the start.
Yeah, that didn't, I don't understand how that went down. That didn't look
kosher, did it?
No.
Side by side.
All right, man, they posted on the board. They said that we jumped the restart. I don't know how the hell you jump the restart when you're leading the race. So go one more lap. One more lap. The caution doesn't come out. We got to come down pit road.
Brandon getting the bad news that he's going to have to come down pit road. They want to stay out a lap or so to try to see if maybe they might be fortunate enough to catch a caution flag. But he's definitely going to have to make his way down pit road, and he more than likely. Well, we got trouble. Dennis Setzer turned around.
Second in the points, gets spun around, and look behind him. He's got problems behind him as well. The 07 and the 08 getting spun around.
I think he survived it, though, Phil, didn't he?
I'm not sure he made any contact with a wall, Michael.
They tried to hit him, about 4 or 5 of them, and he tried to hit the wall. But no damage to the 46.
He's got a little damage. I don't know if that may have been what precipitated the accident. Let's see if we can take a look and see what happened to Dennis Setzer. He's going to drive to the inside of the 33 of Bobby East, and he's going to make some contact with him. Then he loses control. He's going to try to keep it out of the outside wall.
The 07 comes up here and just makes a little bit of contact with the 46, but not too bad right there.
No, he survived a crazy spin there off turn 4.
And Brandon Witt will now be able to come down pit road for that penalty for jumping the start.
Now, if you jump the start and get a penalty and lead a lap, does that count?
Absolutely. I think it does. Here's the onboard right there. You see the contact. He almost saved it. He's going to make a little bit of contact with the outside wall. You see it right there. But the problem with this, Michael, is they only had, most of these teams used up 1 set of tires in practice. They only got 4 sets for the weekend. So they only had 3 sets to run this race. 1 on the truck and 2 in the pits. They may have to use one of those 2 sets, and they'll leave them 1 more in the pits.
Ted Musgrave needed to falter for Dennis Setzer to win. Dennis falters first. Welcome back to the Chevy Silverado 150, and as soon as we start the race, our championship hunt has a new variable.
All kinds of stuff went wrong right at the start. The leader,
the pole sitter jumped the flag.
Well, pole sitter jumps the flag. Dennis Setzer gets spun around in turn 4. Take a look.
He just tried to get in a hole that Bobby East closed. That's one of them racing deals. Dennis has to be in control of his truck. You know, he hit Bobby, and so...
yeah, you can't blame that on Bobby East right there. It was just tight racing.
Now watch this.
This is the very start of the race. The flagman is the one that's supposed to start this race. Brandon Witt goes way early. He probably went, what, 15 truck lengths before the flagman would have waved the green flag.
I don't understand. Brandon's been real cool in that truck, doing a great job. Obviously fast, set on the pole, won Memphis. And then that's just a mental error.
He got a tremendous break, though, with a caution coming out, because he more than likely would have got lapped. Even on a pass-through penalty, he would have got lapped. So he was smart. They stayed out a couple laps, caught the caution flag. He's on the tail end now of the field.
Single file restart. We're back underway on lap number 7.
This is something we've grown accustomed to seeing, Phil. Kyle Busch with the lead in a truck race. And look at the start he got. He's driven away by 4 or 5 truck lengths.
Michael, remember, this is a backup truck. Kyle had trouble in practice yesterday, lost his primary truck, had to get out a backup truck and qualified up in the top 5.
That Menard's number 88 Chevrolet, driven by Matt Crafton, trying to make his way up toward the front.
Tight racing right there. You see Matt's on the inside of the 9 of Hopgood. Had a great qualifying run, did Justin Hopgood.
Crafton qualified 12th, has moved up into the 9th position. How good, as you had just mentioned. Wendy, what's going on with Justin?
It's always interesting to see how the rookies prepare for a truck race. Well, Justin Hopgood spent this afternoon sitting in the hauler watching last year's race from Phoenix along with his crew chief, Tom Ackerman. They watched how the drivers were getting into the turns and where they put the nose on the track. So Justin learned a thing or two while we were sitting here this afternoon.
Getting a report from NASCAR that by virtue, look, Matt Crafton got real sideways there. By virtue of the fact that Brandon Witt jumped the flag and he was under penalty, he will not get credit for leading this race. So there was 5 points that he did not get and did not get credit for leading.
He's fighting his way back up through the field, though, driving to the inside of Chase Montgomery there.
Brad Keselowski just in front of him, and that's Samson Stone, number 29.
He obviously has a very good truck. He just needs to take his time, pass him when he can. Don't try to take any chances. Try to use some pit strategy later on, maybe to try to overcome this deficit he's put himself into.
It's a bit of a short race, Phil. You know, you can't really give up much and expect to be able to overcome it. Now, he did mess up early in the race. He has a shot of overcoming it. If he jumps the start with the 20 to go or something, his night's over.
That's right.
Ultra Motorsports teammates right here, the Team ASC Dodge, number 2. Jimmy Spencer just out in front of the Mopar Dodge, number 1 of Ted Musgrave. Wendy?
The truck that Ted Musgrave is running tonight is called Road Dog. It's the same truck that they ran at Mansfield and both Martinsville, but it also has had 3 different bodies on it. That's why they call it Road Dog, and they wanted to bring it here this weekend because they knew it would be a tough truck for this championship contending team, right?
Hey, Wendy, when we look at his teammate, Jimmy Spencer, in that ASE Dodge, Spencer has not gone to victory lane this year, as we talked to him at the top of the show. One of those guys that would love to get a win. A very uncertain future for this number 2 truck, or actually for Ultra Team. They may be just a 1-truck team, but that would probably be the number 2 with Ted Musgrave driving it. Now, when we look back through the history of this series, the 2 truck has won a race in every season except for 1. That was the year Jason Leffler drove, and now back to Wendy.
What a tough way to start out the night for Dennis Setzer, getting spun around. His tires were flat spotted. His crew chief Eric Phillips said that sets to Goodyear, and they are going to replace those flat spotted tires. Also, the tires they put on Dennis's truck have about 4 laps on them.
They may send those tires to Goodyear, but I don't think that they may remount them, but I don't think they're going to be allowed to put them on the truck because, again, as we mentioned, you only get 4 sets of tires for the weekend. He now obviously has used up 2 sets of tires. That one was flat spotted. The set he used in practice probably had 50, 60 laps on. So I think he only has 1 good set left in the pits, Michael.
But like you said, Phil, this race has been won on a 1 pit stop strategy. So he runs to halfway, puts on his other set of tires, everything normal, good truck. He can still win this darn race, and it's because of the fact that you have to have a good truck to make that type of commitment, but they could do it if the truck's running well.
So Dennis Setzer working his way through the field after his problem early on in this race. Kyle Busch is up front and running very strong in Phoenix. Just as we went away to commercial break, the 07 driven by Jose Luis Ramirez got spun around coming out of turn number 2. Let's take a look.
He's on the inside of the 6 of Ron Hornaday. As we see it so many times, the truck on the inside loses downforce off the rear, and around he went. He managed to keep it out of the wall, but Joey Miller just barely got by. Let's take another look at it. You see him lose the back end, spin around.
Well, Joey Miller's just using his head here. He doesn't know how far that 07 is going to roll back up the hill, so he ducks to the bottom. Lost a couple of spots. NASCAR then put Joey back in his position where he belonged when the caution flew. So nice job of officiating by NASCAR, and it looks like Jose's problems might be a little deeper than just that spin. He was involved in that first wreck.
And most of the damage that we see on the driver's side or the passenger side of that vehicle happened in the first accident.
Yeah, I don't think he made any contact with the 6 of Ron Hornaday. Just lost the air off the rear spoiler, and around he went.
That's what's really, I mean, just like we see every week. You get down on the inside of a guy, you better make sure you got your truck under control because it'll snap around in a hurry if you're not expecting it.
You rarely see a veteran make that mistake of driving down on the inside of somebody like that and losing the back end. Rarely. I'm not saying never, but you rarely see a veteran make that kind of mistake.
And it's because once you feel that feeling, you know, ooh, I know what's next. I better be careful.
Because they've all done it.
That's right. We've all
at least one time, exactly.
Well, Phil, how often do you see a veteran who's racing for a championship on the 4th race of the or the 4th lap of the race get spun around?
Not that often.
We also saw him have problems early in the race at Martinsville getting spun around. So last few races have been a little bit tough on Dennis.
Kyle Busch taking the green flag on the restart. Johnny Benson right behind him. Now, Johnny Benson had his first 2nd place finish on this racetrack back in 1996. He still wants to get that first win in the Truck Series.
How about I want 2nd place from Johnny Benson? All the talk in the garage here was how good that 30 truck was. Also, Johnny Benson was awfully good in the 23. Look at Jimmy Spencer on the apron trying to get by Johnny Benson.
Behind Johnny Benson.
Johnny's protecting the turf. He lost his spot on the start to Todd. He didn't want to keep falling back through the field, Phil. You got to stop the bleeding, and sometimes it means you got to pinch a guy down to do that. And Jimmy Spencer's not the right guy to be pinching down.
He'll pinch back.
He's a pincher.
Johnny Benson dropped back to third position. Ray.
Hey, Rick, Johnny not feeling too good tonight. As a matter of fact, I talked to 5 or 6 drivers down here in the garage area who said they've got flu-like symptoms here. I guess it's just the weather and that time of year. But I asked Johnny, you going to be able to make it? He said, yeah, it's only 150 laps. I'll be fine. But not feeling to the top of his game here tonight.
I tell you, it takes an awful lot to get a driver to get out of a truck or a car, especially when you've got one as good as Johnny Benson is right now. He's not going to want to get out of that truck under any circumstances.
Single file until we get back to that bright yellow Menards number 88 Chevrolet. He's running a little bit higher line than everybody else.
Well, and that is a groove. There is room out there, and they could expand upon that. Last time by, Todd Bodine ran the fastest lap of the race. So everybody's prediction in the garage area about his truck being strong is going to show up here in a second. He's going to make short work here of Kyle Busch in a second.
Rick Crawford, remember, he won on a track somewhat similar to this at Loudon a few weeks ago. So talked to him right before the race, and he said he had an awfully good truck, and he felt like he had a good shot to win this thing. And there's Matt Crafton in the 88 right behind him. Wendy, what's going on with Matt?
Well, we haven't heard a single word from Matt Crafton until about 1 lap ago because his radio was unplugged. About 1 lap ago, he came over the radio and said, man, there you are. I thought you weren't talking to me. The spotter's been trying to talk to him for 22 laps. Matt Crafton's radio was just unplugged.
Rick Crawford drove to the inside of Ron Hornaday through the dogleg. You know, we talk about the uniqueness of this racetrack, but we really haven't touched on the fact that this racetrack is kidney-shaped, and the dogleg, or the charable part of the racetrack, is on the backside.
That's a really tough position to find yourself in there where Crawford is. Did you see Hornaday? He really didn't give him any extra room as they entered the corner. The 14 had to pinch it. Now here comes Crafton looking on the outside, but 14 got back in line. He's looking like he's got a fast truck. Wendy, they got any reports down there?
It sure is a fast truck. This is the same exact setup that Rick Crawford ran in Loudon where he won. We know how competitive this series has been this year. Rick Crawford did get a victory. It came at Loudon, and he's using that same setup here at a similar track at Phoenix.
Here's a battle for the top spot. Todd Bodine wants to take it away from Kyle Busch. Look at Kyle Busch going a little bit harder into the corner.
Michael, as you mentioned, Todd Bodine was going to give Kyle Busch all he wanted here momentarily. And what a great truck he has. Kyle's going to try to fight him off on the outside, but I tell you, it's just going to be a matter of time before Todd's able to make this pass.
Unless, you know, there's a chance that Kyle will move up high and find his truck works better up there and make it difficult for Todd to pass him, or there's a chance maybe
that he will go ahead and pass him, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Make short work of him, like I said the first. I got to stick with my original guess.
Todd Bodine takes over the top spot. Kyle Busch second, and holding on to the third position is that 23 of Johnny Benson.
Well, it sure seems like here the last half of this season, or maybe the last 2/3 of this season, that the Toyotas have figured out how to do it. Look at this. Boy, I tell you, the 38 is making a move towards them. There's some awfully good trucks. There's Terry Cook on the outside in the 10 truck. Good side-by-side battle for second. Here comes another Toyota, Johnny Benson.
Johnny Benson started this race in second, dropped back to third. Now he wants to take second back away from Kyle Busch, and it looks as though Busch is going to give it to him.
You could see both those Toyotas of Benson and Todd Bodine are working on the bottom of the racetrack. That's where the difference was there in that pass. Johnny got it to the bottom while the 15 truck was sliding up the hill. The 23 was taking a left and heading on out.
Side by side for the top 10. That's a battle for 10th and 11th. Ron Hornaday on the outside, the number 6 to 14 on the inside. Rick Crawford trying to hold him off, and it doesn't look as though he's going to be able to. And Ron Hornaday makes the pass. Ray.
Hey guys, talked to last week about the fact that Hornaday would be back truck racing next year. We know that for a fact. We don't know, however, for sure who's going to be his crew chief. Right now, Wally Rogers calls the shots up on top of the box there, but it may be that Wally goes back to the Busch Series to help Bernie Lamar next year. They haven't made that final decision here, but Wally told me today he's not sure yet whether he'll be back on top of the pit box calling the shots for Hornaday.
Looks like the 14 has got thoughts of swinging around the outside of Ron. Ron pinched it down to the bottom to protect the spot. The 14 went up top. Here's Musgrave. Musgrave and Hamilton battling for a 5th place position.
Bobby Hamilton was another one of the trucks that everybody talked about in the garage area. How well his truck was in race practice, and then he had a great qualifying run. Whenever we see Bobby Hamilton qualify near the front, you know he's going to have a good truck.
And you mentioned earlier, Phil, that if Ted Musgrave can finish 4th in the last 2 races, he will clinch the title. Todd Bodine out in front, looking to make it back-to-back wins. In continuing to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Truck Series, we present the toughest NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series moments made possible by Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR. Well, moment 2 takes us back to Daytona International Speedway 2003. The green flag dropped on another momentous Daytona truck race. The trucks battled 3 wide from literally start to finish. When I say finish, I mean going across the finish line separated by 10 feet. Ford, Chevy, and Dodge all within thousandths of a second of each other. Rick Crawford was invited to victory lane, breaking 120 race winless streak.
Looks like a real charger tonight, too, Phil. That truck's running well. He's in the 11th spot. But watching his lap times here lately, he's been one of the quicker trucks on the track. Nobody has anything for the first 2. They're beating everybody by a couple of tenths.
Todd Bodine holding on to the top spot. Just behind him, it's Johnny Benson. 2 Toyotas up front. Then Kyle Busch in that Chevrolet in 3rd.
Todd Bodine had a very, very good truck here last year. He was running 2nd with less than 10 laps to go and ended up having a loose wheel and had to make his way down pit road to race that David Starr eventually won.
I love the bodies on these trucks. If you folks are watching at home, when it comes down the straightaway, it looks like it's going crooked. They got the aerodynamics of these things figured out. They've got the body twisted every which direction you can imagine, Rick, and just makes the thing stick better in the corners.
Well, it gives them air on that back spoiler by sticking the right rear out as it actually is supposedly going straight, right, Michael?
Watch him come down the straightaway. We can get a good shot at it.
Looks like he kind of backed in the fence a little bit and swung it over,
yeah.
But you're going to see a lot of the trucks like that.
Look how crooked it looks.
These teams spend so much time in the wind tunnel trying to get every pound of downforce, every count of downforce. And you see Todd now, he's not out for a Sunday drive. He's fighting that wheel on that thing.
No, that's why these guys love these trucks. You can just lay the gas to them, steer the heck out of them, and go to town. And when you're leading the race and that thing gets a little bit sideways, it makes you happy. You're like, I'm doing my job. I'm working, you know. I'm getting it done up here in the front.
The Todd Bodine running out in front, about halfway through a fuel run as far as what these trucks are expected to be able to run. Having a great run, the number 65 of Timmy Fedewa, currently in the 7th position.
That's no big surprise. Tim Fedewa is a great race car driver. Had a lot of success in the Busch Series. I think he won 4 times in the Busch Series. Had a good, strong top 5 going in this truck a few races ago and ended up getting knocked out of the way in a green-white check. Ended up finishing the top 10. But I'm not surprised to see Tim Fedewa running well in that truck.
His best career finish, 10th at Las Vegas this year. So Tim Fedewa currently running inside the top 10, looking for a career best. Oh, we've got a spin in turn number 1. That is Aaron Crocker in that number 4 Dodge.
Yeah, she was right in front of the leader just a couple moments ago. The last time we were looking at Todd Bodine, our leader, she was the next truck right in front of him.
I'm sure that they're probably trying to come in.
We're,
very unfortunate for Aaron Crocker. Her goal was to get laps, get time in that seat, try to do as much as she can to get comfortable in there, and then this happened.
She had a good qualifying effort, qualifying the 22nd position. That was the fastest lap she had run all week. And let's see if we can take a look at what happened.
It looked as though she had a right front tire that was flat.
Well, she was going to go to the inside of the 13 of Chad Chaffin and just lost the back end trying to get to the inside of Chad Chaffin. She saw the leader right behind her. She wanted to try to make something happen, get by the 13, put a little insulation in between her and the leader.
You can tell that what happened, Phil, she tried to lay off Chaffin. She tried to get that thing to the left and not run into Chad, but in doing so, they tapped, and she had the wheels cut to the left. When they tapped, she couldn't hang on to it. Nobody could have hung on to it at that point.
It's going to be great to see her full-time next year with Betty Crocker as a sponsor. A very well-spoken young lady, and going to be a real credit to this sport.
So the 3rd caution has come out at Phoenix International Raceway, and we see Aaron Crocker climbing out of that Cheerios machine.
He's also going to run Homestead next week, and another one of Bobby Hamilton's trucks.
And again, this is a development program that she is involved with.
Evernham Motorsports is who's going to field her truck. We've got some leaders coming up pit road. We've got a couple guys staying out. Jimmy Spencer's one of them.
So Todd Bodine brings the field down pit road. Wendy.
Todd Bodine did decide to come down and take his fresh tires at this point in the race. Mike Hillman called for a track bar adjustment, but Todd Bodine said, no way, no track bar adjustment, please, just 4 tires and a pound out of the left tires. Ray?
Well, Wendy, there will be a track bar adjustment for Johnny Benson. They will go up 1 round because his truck is getting tight, and we're going to hear that a lot in this race tonight. They put the track bar adjustment in, got ready to do it, and then all of a sudden called it off, decided not to. So Rick Wren making a change here. They went down a pound of air in the left rear. That'll help loosen him up.
Also on pit road right now, we see 46 of Dennis Setzer is on pit road.
If Dennis puts another set of tires on, then that could be his last set of tires for this race. He could also put these tires back on that only have about 30-35 laps on them.
I'm surprised more people didn't stay out, Phil. I thought maybe it's a chance for some guys to try to grab some track position. Spencer stayed out, but he didn't have very many people stay out behind him, so he'll get smoked off as soon as they go back to racing. Wendy, what's Setzer saying?
Well, they do have those tires remounted from Goodyear, and according to the 46 team, NASCAR is going to let them use that extra set of tires because all 4 tires were flat spotted on that early spin. So he, I don't know, it sounds kind of sketchy, but he does have that fresh set of tires here on pit road.
So Dennis Setzer, who's currently second in our points battle, chasing Ted Musgrave. Musgrave currently shown in 7th. Chevy Silverado continues on Speed Channel for these messages. Play the official fantasy games of Speed Channel. Speed Fantasy Cup Auto Racing 2005. Go to speedtv.com, register for Speed Homestead One Race Challenge. Select 8 drivers for the Homestead race and a chance to win $10,000. $25,000 cash and prizes for the top 300 winners. Log on to speedtv.com now.
Getting ready to restart this race here. Jimmy Spencer and the 29 of Brad Keselowski stayed out. Everyone else behind them has fresh tires, Michael.
This is not going to be good for those two. You know, that wasn't a bad call, I didn't think, to stay out, but then everybody pitted behind them. And so they're sitting ducks. They'll get 8 up in the first turn.
Green flag flies. Jimmy Spencer. Brad Keselowski 1 and 2. Johnny Benson in the number 23. First truck off of pit road.
Okay. He's eating one of them up off turn 2.
That takes away the second position for Brad Keselowski. Here comes Todd Bodine and Kyle Busch as well, going to the inside of Keselowski, and he's kind of hung out to dry.
He sure is. Again, he knew that was going to happen. You see him fighting, and he's got 40-some lap tires on right now. Everybody else has fresh tires. See Kyle Busch moves to the inside. Todd Bodine to take over that spot. Now he's moving to the 3rd position on Brad Keselowski.
Takes that away. Todd Bodine's going to follow as well.
Spencer got a bit of a break in the fact that Brad did stay out. At least they got to deal with him for a little while. Maybe burn some of the new off their tires before they get up to Jimmy.
Jimmy talked about having a very strong truck, and obviously he's showing it by he and the 23 being able to separate themselves.
Ray, he's got some very interesting race strategy going on right now by staying out.
Well, they do, Phil, and here's basically what they were hoping. They'd hoping they could go another 30 laps here and get the caution. If they can get somewhere around 70, 75, you can do this on a one-stop deal. He figures everybody else out here is going to have to stop one more time. So if he can get it at 70, come in there, he's already got good track position.
That's a good gamble right there, Ray. But the problem is last year we had a couple runs of well over 40 green flag laps. If he gets a 40-lap green flag run right now, he will have to pit under green because he will be out of fuel, and then that situation is going to be very, very tenuous.
It's a risky move. It could pay off. Caution flag flies right now. It's no advantage. In fact, it's going to hurt him. He'll have to pit and go to the back of the field. If they run 20 laps and it flies, maybe it plays into his into an advantage for Jimmy.
Almost got into the outside wall coming off turn number 4. How about on the 30 truck getting by him?
Spencer just in front of teammate Ted Musgrave in that Mopar Dodge. Again, 4th position is the magic number for Ted Musgrave. If he can finish 4th or better in this race, and then 4th or better in Homestead, he wins the 2005 championship.
Ooh, that's a lot of work to do, though.
Yeah. Wendy, what's happening with Ted?
The first 40 laps of this race were a little bit tough on Ted Musgrave. His truck was just not turning in the center of the turn. So when they came down pit road, they made that much-needed track bar adjustment, and Ted Musgrave seems to be getting around Phoenix much better now.
We see Bobby Hamilton making his way by Jimmy Spencer as well. And Tim Fedewa in that number 65 right behind Bobby Hamilton. So they're running very well. Here's Setzer Again, in this championship hunt, currently being shown in 21st position, but a lot of trucks around him.
Moving forward, but man, he's put himself in 2 or 3 spots that you didn't know whether he's going to make it out of it or not. He cleared Lester. He and Rudeman now are moving up to the back of Robert Presley. It looks like Dennis has a fast truck.
And we talked in the booth, we were talking about when Wendy mentioned that NASCAR was going to give them 4 fresh tires. We thought there's no way that can't be possible. We are now hearing from NASCAR they will receive 4 tires for that truck.
No, I'm confused, but I'll stay confused a lot, so it's no big deal. Doesn't mean that's right or wrong. I just hadn't heard of that. I didn't know you could have more tires.
I thought they were limited to their 4 sets for the weekend, but
do with them what you want.
That's right. And if unfortunately, if you spin and flat spot them, now I know that if you have a flat tire or if you have one a damaged wheel, that they will allow you to replace that tire in that corner. So maybe he came in the pits with 4 flat tires, Michael. And NASCAR allowed them to replace those 4 flat tires with 4 fresh ones.
Dennis Setzer just in front of the NTN bearings, number 17 of David Rudeman. We look back there and we look at the point standings as of now. Dennis Setzer 120 points behind Musgrave as they run currently.
Wow, Ted's got to be smiling. Give me points. Give me points. Let me go to Miami and just have to start to win this thing. That would make it a lot more fun this week as he prepares for the final race of the season.
But I don't think we've heard the last from Dennis Setzer, because again, we are getting a report that he now has just as many tires as everybody else. NASCAR allowed him to have those 4 tires that he flat spotted replaced. And right now he's up into the top 20 moving forward. So this championship is not over by a long shot.
And we've also seen we've seen bad luck happen to Ted Musgrave. Right at the end of races, he's had lug nuts go bad. He's had a cut tire when he was leading races, and they've happened right here at Phoenix.
This very race last year, he was leading inside of 30-40 laps to go, cut a tire down, had to make his way down pit road. That allowed David Starr to take over the lead, and he ended up winning the race. So Ted Musgrave has been here 6 times, and he's been in the top 6 5 of those times.
Out in front of this field, Johnny Benson leading at Phoenix International Raceway. Again, he finished 2nd here in 1996. We'll see if he can improve on that mark as Johnny Benson looks to win his first race in the Truck Series. Let's take a closer look at the Premier Division of NASCAR and our Nextel Cup update. Here's your top 10.
Now look at there. There's still 5 guys, 6 guys maybe in this championship battle. I say that will get reduced to 3 this weekend as we go to Homestead for the season finale.
I think it's 3. We've got 3 drivers within 77 points. I think it's a 3-man race right now.
Official pre-race show, NASCAR this morning, 11 o'clock Sunday. Tune in on Speed Channel. Johnny Benson holding on to the top spot, putting a little distance between himself and Todd Bodine, who's in 2nd, just over a second now between those 2 trucks.
Yeah, Todd took over the 2nd position from Kyle Busch, the 15 truck, while we were away at commercial break, and opened up quite a big gap over Kyle Busch. A little bit over 2nd while we were at commercial. There's our leader, Johnny Benson. Ray, what's going on with Johnny?
Well, Phil, I talked to him right before the race and said, what's your plan for next year? He said, well, I sure hope to be driving this number 23 truck. We're working awfully hard on putting some sponsorship together, but we've been very surprised to have not won so far this year. Thought we'd be able to have a little better effort. So as of right now, they don't have a sponsor signed yet. Benson said he has no other plans at the moment because he's hoping that things will work out right there at Bill Davis Racing. But as of right now, the future's still a little uncertain for Johnny in the 23.
Ron Hornaday just getting by the 65 of Tim Vidoa. A great battle for 6th and 7th position.
Ron's a 2-time winner here at Phoenix in the Craftsman Truck Series. Got a tremendous record here. There's several drivers that are very, very good on this racetrack.
And yeah, I can't overstate how important it is, the experience that someone like Johnny Benson and Todd Bodine and Ron Hornaday have on this racetrack. They've been doing this forever at this place. Johnny finished 2nd 10 years ago, and now he's leading the race. It's very important to know what you're doing.
There's the 2 of Jimmy Spencer. Michael, he is really going backwards.
Oh, he's got to be wondering right now if this call is going to work out. Because, Phil, if the caution flies in a couple 10 or 15 laps, maybe everybody pits for the last time. And he's going to go from running solidly in the top 5, which he was before he didn't pit, to being 25th or 30th, maybe even a lap down. golly, he's just falling and falling.
He's out of the top 25 right now, and probably 2-3 laps he'll be out of the top 30. As you see, Brad Keselowski, who's on the same strategy, is going to be able to drive by him. There's Ken Schrader, our buddy Kenny in the Federated Auto Parts Chevrolet.
Yeah, and just in front of Brad Keselowski and Jimmy Spencer is the number 33 of Bobby East. A great run for him in that Ford.
Had a good qualifying effort. They came here and tested. Made his first ever career start. He's one of Ford's developmental drivers. Looks to run, hoping to run a full season next year here at the Craftsman Truck Series.
And he's doing just what he needs to do. He qualified good. He found him a hole. He's sitting in that hole, just making laps, learning about that truck, trying to figure out what it's going to take to compete with these guys.
And Michael, he's running with some great trucks. He's running with our pole sitter, Brandon Witt, who made a mistake at the start, had to go to the back. Scott Lynch, Terry Cook, Bill Lester. He's running with some great trucks right now, learning a lot.
Guy who's learned a lot around this track is Ken Schrader as we look out the back of his truck. Ray, what have you got on Bobby?
I just want to let you know, Rick, he will be full-time next year, and he'll be driving for ST Motorsports. They'll have a conglomeration unit with the Wood brothers next year. This team very excited about the future, knowing that Bobby East has a lot of racetracks to learn here, but the kid has a lot of experience behind the wheel, running in the USAC Silver Crown and Midget Series. Lots of wins there. Now, also, this team will know by next Tuesday or Wednesday whether or not it'll be a two-truck team. They actually have another driver that has a potential sponsor to bring along to make it a two-truck effort. And everyone knows that two trucks are better than one when we're talking about learning and education and all that. Bobby East, a young driver, but very experienced behind the wheel.
Getting a report that Bobby had to restart this race from the tail end of the longest line for a non-compliant fuel issue. He did not have a catch can. All these teams were required to have a catch can to catch the overflow fuel. He did not have one. That's why he had to restart from the very back of the pack. Great battle here. There's Rick Crawford, the 14 truck. Ron Hornaday, the 6 truck, battling for the 6th position.
Ron's just picking them off, Phil. Driving up through there. He's very experienced at this racetrack and very good at this racetrack. No surprise seeing him going forward. He hasn't run that well as of late, so it's good to see him back on the right track.
He started 10 times here in the Craftsman Truck Series, and 9 of those 10, he's been in the top 10.
Ron Hornaday, 2 victories here, 98 and 99. In the early parts of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. 27 wins to Ron Hornaday's credit in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the winningest driver ever in this series.
He's got 6th place right now over Rick Crawford.
Fastest truck that time by was Bobby Hamilton back in the 5th spot. These guys are just ahead of Bobby. Rick Crawford there and Hornaday, as you see. Our leader is Johnny Benson off turn 4. He's opened that lead up over Todd.
Just a little bit under a second right there. I'm sorry, Rick.
That's right. 4 different drivers have been out in front. Johnny Benson, our most recent, as he goes by the start-finish line. It will be his 26th lap that he's led, the most so far by any driver. And the Craftsman Truck Series will be decided next week.
Remember when we went to break, I said Johnny Benson had stretched it out on Todd Bodine? It was an action-packed break that y'all went through. These guys have been dicing through traffic. Johnny's just being able to hold off Todd barely. Todd's all over him.
Johnny's been able to use the traffic to his advantage. It's like Willie Allen, the 08 was way up high, did not make any contact with the wall. Brendan Gaughan, the 77 Jasper Dodge, goes down the lap.
As has Jimmy Spencer, as has Kenny Schrader. That just tells you what kind of pace that these leaders are setting.
Blistering pace. Dennis Setzer moving up. He's currently in 14th position. His championship challenger, Ted Musgrave, currently in 4th position, and that's the magic number for Ted, finishing the top 4.
Yeah, Dennis Setzer, though, obviously the hole he put himself in by spinning early on, he's going to be able to successfully overcome that, I think. We're going to see Dennis Setzer battling for a top 5 position before this race is over.
And he has to win. Dennis Setzer really has to win. If Ted Musgrave is going to run as well as he is right now, Dennis Setzer has to win this race. We're hearing that the 08 is getting black flagged, so he'll have to bring that down pit road.
Jimmy Spencer just came to pit road, Phil. 82 laps into this event. He didn't pit on the first caution there, or the second caution when everyone else pitted.
The problem with this is he will find himself at least 2 laps down after this pit stop. If not 3, it's going to be almost impossible for him to be able to overcome this and try to get back on the lead lap and get back in contention.
This is where pit strategy becomes so important.
And I guarantee you there's Nextel Cup crew chiefs and Busch Series crew chiefs that watch what just happened to Jimmy Spencer. 40 laps, everyone pitted except Jimmy. He finds himself 3 laps down when he finally has to come to pit road. Wow, that's a big payment to pay.
Michael, it's not the bad news is not over yet for Jimmy Spencer. A pass-through penalty for speeding on pit road at the very tail end of pit road. He sped a little bit. You see him now making his way back to pit road. He's going to be probably 4 laps down when this is over.
Look, side-by-side battle for the lead. Todd's driven to the inside of Johnny. They got a lap truck in front of him. We're trying to lap Bobby East just in front of him.
Bobby moves up the racetrack. There's Brandon Witt. Remember our pole suit. He's right in front of the leaders.
Now, Johnny Benson would not like to see what just happened. Bobby East moved up in front of him. Johnny Benson thought he was going to pass him on the outside. Now, Bobby East is moved to the outside, and so Johnny Benson takes the inside line.
Johnny's going to make his way by on the inside. I think he would much rather do that. And that's what all the drivers in the garage area said. You get a lot of laps in these tires. The trucks that maybe aren't handling quite as well will drive in the corner, slide up the racetrack, and you have to make your truck work on the bottom, and you drive by it.
Boy, those two guys right there are evenly matched, aren't they, Phil? This is going to, I don't know, they're the class of the field right now. But those two trucks, I don't know which one's got the advantage. Whoever winds up in the front, I don't think the other one's going to have much of a chance to pass him late.
Ted Musgrave has gotten around Kyle Busch, moved up into the 3rd position, but Ted Musgrave is still 5.5 seconds behind our leader.
See Brandon with the 38 truck right there, getting ready to go a lap down to our leader, Johnny Benson.
Pole sitter, Brandon Witt, by the way.
His night went bad before he ever got to the start-finish line to start this race.
See, Todd Bodine closes right up on the back of that number 38 DW Boogity whatever.
Boogity Grill.
Roger.
You should know that.
Yeah, Boogity, Boogity, Boogity. I wish
Grill.
you knew how many people came up to me and said that all the time.
Kenny Schrader, the number 52, currently in 28th position, battling with Brad Keselowski.
That is a battle for position. There's Ted Musgrave, our 3rd place truck, trying to find his way by these two trucks that are racing side by side. Ted's behind them saying, please get single file.
Somebody make up your mind. I need to go.
Ted may turn it under. Ken Schrader make it 3 wide possibly.
Got to be frustrating for Schrader. Like we said, you know, he ran 2nd in the Cup race here back in '90. He's won 15 events at this racetrack, and here he is going a lap down, not even competitive. I know it's just killing a guy like Kenny Schrader.
Brad Keselowski continues to run that high line around this racetrack, and earlier he may have run a little bit too high.
Ron Hornaday looks to the inside of Kyle Busch. See if we can take a look at what happened to Brad Keselowski a few laps ago. You see him coming off the corner.
Whoa, that looked fun, didn't it?
Yeah.
For a race car driver, I would say yes.
There's another view from Ken Schrader's federated onboard. He makes just the slightest bit of contact coming off turn number 4 on the outside wall.
Over 130 miles an hour is what they're qualifying at around this track. So I'm not so sure how fun that is to scrape the wall going 130, Michael.
These trucks will run about 155 or 160 miles an hour entering the corner. They get down to about 95 miles an hour in the center of the corner. That's as slow as they get. So he was sliding sideways off the corner probably at 105, 110 miles an hour.
Can you imagine that? I mean,
I can, and Phil can.
I mean, it's just so cool, the performance of these race trucks. I mean, and they're so fun to drive, and they're hauling the mail going into the corner over 160 miles an hour, sideways off the turn at 110.
And it's a flat racetrack. I mean, this is a track where you talk about going in at those speeds, you've really got to lay on the brakes here, too.
You lay on the brakes, you use everything at your disposal to get that thing to the bottom and get it to turn, because it doesn't want to. You go in the corner at 160 miles an hour, your truck wants to go straight. That's where it's wanting to head, and you got to fight it to get it to go left.
Well, the fight has continued up front, but Johnny Benson currently leading this round as far as the battle between himself and Todd Bodine. Benson out in front of Bodine, Musgrave, Busch, and Hornaday. Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed Channel is brought to you by Walk the Line, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon. November 18th only in theaters. By High Endurance Oils from Mobil, official lubricants of NASCAR. By Zales, be brilliant. And by Just for Men Hair Color, targets only the gray for a natural look.
Natural.
Johnny Benson just in front of Todd Bodine. That's 1 and 2. Third is Ted Musgrave. Now Musgrave 10 seconds behind first place right now. So closing in on half a lap between first and third. What's going on, Wendy?
Oh, there's Kyle Busch in the pits. Wendy talked about his tires were going away. He had to come to pit road.
Kyle Busch finds himself on pit road. We were going to report that Ted Musgrave had a tire going down. We'll check to see what was going on in the 15 as well, and we'll update you.
The green flag pit stops have begun, fellas. This is always a tense time for all the teams. You come to pit road, the caution flies, your night's over.
Michael, that was barely 50 laps on those tires for Kyle Busch, but we saw him losing a number of positions. You see Ted Musgrave, he's still running pretty well on the racetrack. He's within 3 or 4 tenths of the fastest trucks while he was passing a truck. He may feel like he has a tire going down, but again, he's got over 50 laps in his tires. They may just be going away.
But some guys are still continuing to run impressive laps. Johnny Benson, the fastest guy that time by 28.84. And all the way down in 11th place, a cat that had a problem on his pit stop and has marched through the field, David Rudeman. He ran just over 29 seconds. So there are some fast trucks, but some guys are going away in a hurry.
It looks like Johnny Benson and Todd Bodine are trading the fastest lap each and every race, it seems like. But a lot of trucks are running very, very comparable speeds to what they are.
And we're hearing the possibility of problems for the number 1. Well, Dennis Setzer had his problem virtually at the start of this race, and now he has moved up into the 12th position. So Dennis Setzer moving up, and Ted Musgrave could possibly start to move down.
Had a 3-wide battle just for a moment right in front of this group. Ron Hornaday has passed Ted Musgrave for the 3rd position.
I mentioned earlier, you see the truck right there. That's David Rudeman up trying to get around Mike Bliss and run into the top 10. Their truck fell off the jack during that pit stop, and he restarted back in 23rd or 4th. So obviously the adjustments that Bobby Kennedy and that NTN bearing team made have improved that truck, because he's consistently the 3rd best truck. The 2 guys in the lead are in a class of their own. Maybe even Ron Hornaday has started now at this point to join their pace. But David's probably a 4th or 5th fastest truck out there right now.
Hey, Dennis Setzer has done a terrific job overcoming that early spin. He's up in the 12th position right now. Again, consistently running very, very fast laps. He's 23 seconds behind our leader right now, but he's running the same speed or maybe even a little quicker than a lot of the trucks that see David Rudeman go by the 52 of Ken Schrader on the inside.
Dennis Setzer uncharacteristically bringing out our first caution on lap 4, but after that mishap was able to get back out here and run very well. He's currently in 12th.
Hey, Rick and Michael, see the 16 Chevy right there? That's Mike Bliss. Talked to Dave Fuge, owner of that team, just before the race, and Chevrolet will not be back to that team next year. Here's a 2-time championship winning team, Express Motorsports, with one of their champion drivers, Mike Bliss, and they don't have a sponsor for next year, so they're looking for somebody to partner with, get that 16 truck on the racetrack to try to go after their 3rd championship. Mike Bliss has given this truck a pretty good ride tonight. He's currently being shown in the 11th position, but that's one team that's always competitive week in, week out, year in, year out, that deserves somebody to come along and help them get them back on the track.
Ricky Craven comes in for, looks like 4 tires.
See the smoke, Rick? That's out of the tailpipe.
That's a bad sign.
That's a motor problem that's developed on the 99.
Dropped a cylinder or something.
Yep, dropped a cylinder, Ricky said.
Yep.
Oh, a lot of smoke.
Yeah,
a lot of smoke rolling out of the side of that truck.
Yeah, that more than luckily could possibly be terminal. NASCAR will not allow that truck to smoke very, very much on the racetrack.
Continuing to see green flag pit stops now as more trucks are starting to come down pit road.
This is when you're very, very nervous. Like I said earlier, you make
Spencer's in a wall.
Jimmy Spencer gets into the wall hard. We see him staying right along
right
the
front, guys.
wall as he goes down.
All right, Jimmy.
That being the backstretch.
Jimmy made that green flag pit stop, put fresh tires on, back on lap number 82, and he was making up a lot of time. He wasn't going to be able to make up all the time because of green flag. You heard Jimmy say he's okay, but because of the green flag pit stop and a pass-through penalty, found himself 4 laps down.
Now, Jimmy's a tough son of a gun, and did you hear him in that truck?
Yeah, I'm all right. You know it knocked the wind out of him. That's what happens. Even with these safer barriers here, it's going to knock the wind out of you. Watch me, just in front of the 38, you see the tire go down, you see the sparks before he even hits the wall.
that is a hard contact. I don't care whether you hit a safer barrier or not. That's a 3,400-pound truck, and it's tore it all to pieces. So, you know, Jimmy had to give a little bit up in that cab.
And we talked about it earlier, probably over 105 miles an hour when they're coming out of that turn. So he hit that whole wall hard.
Thank goodness for the good headrest we have now, and then Hans devices and the safer barriers. Great to hear Jimmy, even though he had the wind knocked out of him, it sounded like a little bit, but I think he's going to be just fine.
Well, as the misfortunes continue for the number 2 of Jimmy Spencer, a very fortunate time for a caution to come out. Now, Johnny Benson, other drivers are going to be coming in for that last stop that they needed to make.
It's fortunate time if you hadn't pitted yet, but remember we saw Kyle Busch come to pit road. He finds himself now a lap down with the 4 or 5 guys ahead of him trying to get the free pass. And in fact, I think the free pass will go to Tim Fedewa. He'll be able to move around and make himself, put himself back on the lead lap.
And with this incident that has just taken place with Jimmy Spencer now out of this race, it's official that Ted Musgrave cannot clinch the title tonight. So this championship race will go down to Homestead, Miami, and next week.
It's going to be interesting to see who can win the battle off pit road here, because again, this is going to be their last pit stop. We're going to be inside of 40 laps to go when we restart this race, so it's going to be a great battle on pit road, and this is when the teams really have to be on the money, because this one is where it counts.
Johnny Benson looking for his first ever win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Wendy.
As Phil mentioned, the battle off pit road is going to be key. The communication on Todd Bodine's radio, they said track bar adjustment, and Todd Bodine said, no, it's a little too risky. No adjustments. Let's just beat them off pit road. He comes to a stop, 4 tires. Of course, crew chief Mike Hillman changes the rear tires. Pretty routine stop, but no adjustments because they do not want to take any chances. Ray?
Wendy, for Johnny Benson, it's a ½ pound in the right rear. Now listen, they only need 1 can of fuel here. They want to keep a lighter load on this. That lets the track bar stay a little higher in there and keeps his truck looser. This truck was good. He said, not a big problem. We got to get off pit road first, but it looks like Todd Bodine is going to beat the 23 out of the pits.
Just what he didn't want to have happen. He wanted to win the race off pit road.
Well, we thought that this battle could be a battle for track position. These 2 trucks were so evenly matched, and Todd's team got him the lead off pit road.
So Todd Bodine's number 30 crew able to get him off just in front of Johnny Benson when we come back to the finish of this one. Welcome back to the Chevy Silverado 150 on Speed Channel. A new leader. Johnny Benson actually came onto pit road leading, but Todd Bodine won the race off of pit road. And we look at how the team celebrated. A little bit of difference between their Todd Bodine's team.
Check them out. They know what they'd accomplished.
Yeah, sure did. It could be a race-winning pit stop right there.
The last pit stop is the most important one. Well, these guys did their job.
They celebrate, and this is Rick Wren, Johnny Benson's crew chief, and not happy.
Shoot,
yeah.
He said.
How disappointed he is. Obviously, they wanted so badly to beat Todd Bodine off pit road because it may be difficult for whoever's behind to get by those hip trucks. They were so evenly matched.
Moving up to 8th position after that pit stop, the 46 of Dennis Setzer.
He's creeping back into this deal. He had his problems early, Phil. We talked about that. If you've got a good truck and you have a problem early, you can overcome it. Brandon Witt had a problem early. His truck isn't good enough for him to overcome it. He's back in 21st, a lap down. Dennis is still in the thick of the battle.
Yeah, I think Dennis Setzer's going to make his way forward from there, too. He's got a great truck. He's got an awfully good guy here at Phoenix in front of him, Jack Sprague, in that 60 Weiler Toyota.
Randy Kaiser taking the pace truck down pit road. That puts it into the hands of Todd Bodine in the number 30. He's on the outside. Slower lap traffic on the inside. 2 lines, and almost problems at the start there on the restart.
Wayne Edwards, the 24 truck, got completely sideways.
And he's having problems getting up to speed. Trucks going by him. He's actually slowing most of the field down on that inside line.
Dennis Setzer received a little bit of contact damage, I think, to the left front corner of that car, Phil. He got in, or excuse me, of that truck. He got into another truck as they went through turn 1.
We'll have to take a look at that and see if we see any smoke from that 46 truck. You sure rely on these front fenders, too, for downforce. See Rick Crawford, the 14 truck, leading the 59 truck of Robert Presley. Robert is a lap down. There's Todd Cleaver, the 50 truck, moves to the inside. of the 75 of David Starr. David's also a lap down, our defending champion of this race.
Crazy, isn't it?
Amazing.
From one year to the next.
You can't figure it out. You know, if you raise your rear roll center a quarter of an inch or let a quarter of a pound out of a tire and it sends your truck crazy, how can you predict a guy won one year that he's going to win the next? You don't know what's going to happen next week.
Well, and the quality of racing we've talked about all year long has really improved in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We've had 14 different winners in this series, and running second right now, Johnny Benson could make it a record 15th different winner this season. But Johnny Benson's got to make the road happen on the track. And look at Terry Cook getting spun around in that number 10.
Hang on to it.
Yeah, Jack Sprague made some contact with Terry Cook, and it turned him around.
That will allow Kyle Busch in that 15 truck. We saw him make a green flag pit stop. He will get your free pass.
He all left track, then he dumped me.
Dumped him, he said.
Yeah, he said I gave him all that track and he dumped me. And Jack Sprague was on the inside, did make some contact, turned him around. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened. See him drive down in turn number 3. You see Jack moves up off the the yellow line, got a little bit loose there, had to chase his truck up the hill, and when he did, he made some contact with Terry Cook.
Man, for Terry Cook, that's frustrating too, because you could see him just giving and giving and giving. He just didn't realize that Jack had gotten sideways, and when you get sideways, you got to crank that thing to the right a little bit, and that's exactly where the truck of Terry Cook was.
You need a little more room. Watch Jack. He's right down next to the apron and slides up the racetrack, makes the contact with Terry Cook. Terry does a good job of not letting that truck back up into the outside wall.
See if we can watch Jack. See him there? He bobbled. That thing came around.
Inside.
Shoot in front.
Fifth caution of the night has come out as Terry Cook got spun around. I don't think we'll see any pit stops, but we're going to see a great finish when we come back. And welcome back to the desert, Phoenix, Arizona, for the Chevy Silverado 150 on Speed Channel. Todd Bodine just in front of Johnny Benson, and we have the magic of having the lap times on computers up here in front of us. And Michael, you just pointed out that the last lap Todd Bodine ran was the fastest of the night.
Yep, his truck is right now, and I don't foresee. I'm going to make a bold prediction, Phil.
We're good at that.
Johnny being able to get him, but let me tell you about a wild card sitting in third place. A cat that is notorious for his crazy restarts, driving around people in the first turn on a restart. Ron Hornaday's third, Rick. It could be a factor.
Well, he's going to have to get by a couple Toyotas, and the Toyota Spotlight lets us take a closer look at where tonight's field of Toyota Tundras are currently running, and two guys that he will have to get by, Todd Bodine and Johnny Benson, just in front of Ron Hornaday.
5 Toyotas in the top 10. Jack Sprague 8th, Rudum in 9th, and Mike Skinner in 10th. Joey Miller has a good run going, Michael. He's in 13th.
He's been impressive. He's matched just about lap for lap the top 10 guys' time. So Joey's continuing to do a nice job in Darrell's truck.
Lights are off the pace truck. He'll make his way back down pit road. Again, Todd Bodine up in front. But you mentioned the number 6 of Ron Hornaday in third. And we've called him the master of restarts. We'll see how he does this time.
Very important not to make a mistake on this restart. Don't miss any gears. Don't spin the tires and see if Todd can have a clean one. Look at Johnny jump to the inside.
Right after the start-finish line, Johnny Benson jumps in behind the 59 of Robert Presley. Can Presley continue on past the 30, and Johnny Benson has the preferred line as they go down the backstretch?
I think Johnny may end up losing a spot over this. Look at Ron Hornaday going to try to sneak up on that. Johnny drives down on the inside.
Benson holding on to second. Hornaday on the outside. That's a battle for third. But Bodine has held on to the top spot.
Wow, that was a bold move by Johnny. You got to time that thing perfectly, Phil. You cannot be in the act of passing when you cross the start-finish line. It has to be after you cross the start-finish line.
Problems with the 77 Jasper engines and transmissions. Number 77. Brendan Gaughan. It looks as though he gets spun around, but he keeps it going. But as the smoke flies and the potential for danger happens, they bring out the caution. So that's caution number 6.
Way to hang on to it, driver.
Looked like a good job by Joey Miller again getting stopped.
I bet you Joey's wondering how many people are going to spin out in front of him tonight. That was a close call again. Robert Presley maintained his advantage over the leader. Will make his lap up on the track, allowing Dave. Whoa, look at that. He was trying to dive underneath Rudeman.
Got loose entering the corner. Watch Joey Miller come along in the 12 truck. There he is right there. Gets stopped, all but stopped to avoid running into Brendan Gaughan.
Man, when you spin out at a flat, high-speed racetrack like this and don't hit anything, you just got to count your blessings.
You really do. When you have a high bank racetrack, the bank catches you, but on a flat track such as Phoenix, you don't have that option, that luxury. And for Brendan to get that thing woed up before he hits the outside wall, see if we can take another look at it. That's Matt Crafton right in front of Ken Schrader. You see the 77. Brendan Gaughan gets sideways.
Go below him, go below him. Good job.
Good job by Ken Schrader's spotter. And Ken Schrader.
Spears Manufacturing number 75 will earn the free pass after this most recent caution, and so he makes it back out onto the lead lap. Todd Bodine out in front. Six cautions have come out at Phoenix International Raceway. Todd Bodine just in front of, well, one of the best restart drivers in all of NASCAR. Ron Hornaday in second.
Well, he was in third on the last restart. Now he's in second. If he can get around Todd Bodine, I think that truck's fast enough where he could, like I said earlier, before we went back racing, he could be a factor. His truck's fast.
Was that right after you said that Todd Bodine was going to win the race?
You didn't give me Hornaday. You said, is it going to be Todd or Johnny? And I said Todd, I think. Maybe Johnny, but Todd.
That's a technicality there.
I understand.
Now there's another guy that has made his presence known, and his truck is fast, and he makes people make mistakes on restarts. He's just that good. He is so good that people sometimes get off their game to try to match him or not to let him do something to him.
77 points separating Setzer and Musgrave. This is as they run currently. Musgrave being shown in fourth, Setzer in seventh.
I think that will change. I think Dennis Setzer's going to continue to move up front. Todd Bodine, you know he's conscious of who's behind him on this restart right now.
Next week, Homestead Miami Speedway determines the 2005 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion. But we have got some racing to do right here. 25 laps to go. Todd Bodine will take the green flag. Ron Hornaday right behind him.
Ron Hornaday's pushing him, Phil, pushing him down the front straightaway into the first turn. Gets Todd sideways and drive. Look at the
damage. He's got damage on the back of the truck because Ron was pushing him down the straightaway.
He said you can get black flag for that. You not Hornaday, the 30 car, you can't have stuff hanging off your truck.
It's not there anymore.
Where did it go?
It fell off already. We may have a caution for debris here pretty soon if we figure out where the bumper of the 30 went.
Yeah, more than likely. That is on the racetrack somewhere. It may slide up against the wall. Watch this restart.
He's pushing him right there.
Right there. He's against him right at the start-finish line. He's going to make some damage to the back of his truck, his rear bumper support. You see him get sideways entering the corner.
That's just some aluminum, it looks like, Phil. Maybe it isn't bars. I thought it was the bars that hold the bumper on. But
there it is right there. It's still there, but it's just aluminum. I think NASCAR will look at that and say, no big deal. Now he's opened up about a 4 or 5 truck length lead over Ron Hornaday. I think Ron Hornaday's best opportunity is on a restart to get by Todd Bodine. Todd has shown so much strength this entire race.
But he is killing Johnny's chance to go catch Todd. Ron is slower than Johnny, but Johnny's not been able to get around Ron right now. And in the meantime, that yellow Toyota is disappearing to those guys.
And the laps are winding down here. 23 to go right there. Johnny desperately needs to get by Ron Hornaday so he can try to chase down the 30 of Todd Bodine.
A lot of times at the end of the race, you'll have a bunch of cautions too. So Todd's got the lead, and he's hoping the caution doesn't fly anymore. He doesn't need that aggravation. He just wants these next 22 laps to roll off, and he wind up in victory lane. Ron, on the other hand, is thinking, I did pretty good on that restart. I think I'd do a little better on the next one.
You know, Todd hasn't been very good on neither one of the restarts because we saw Johnny drive to the inside entering turn number 1. Had it not been for the 59 of Robert Presley, he may have been able to make the pass on Todd, and then Ron Hornaday was able to push Todd Bodine down the front straightaway into turn number 1. So Todd hasn't been great on the restarts.
Justin Hosgood in the number 9 also has problems on the back of his truck.
Trouble in turn 1.
Oh, look out. Deborah Renshaw into the side of that truck as well. Nowhere to go for Renshaw and Bobby East.
All right, guys. I couldn't blow it up, man.
Deborah say she's all right. She just couldn't get stopped. That's Bobby East, the 33 truck right there. Going to be another restart, another opportunity for Ron Hornaday maybe to take a shot at top 09.
Like I said, late in these races, things start, the intensity picks up.
We've got our point contenders right now running 5th and 6th. Musgrave's 5th, Setzer 6th.
As they continue to work on the 8 and the 33, let's take a look at what happened.
Kyle Busch put Robert Presley and Bobby East 3 wide, and Bobby was the odd man out. He was the guy on the outside, and he's the one wound up in the wall.
Take another look at it there. You see Kyle makes his way to the inside. Robert had to give Kyle Busch some room on the inside, and Bobby came down to take his normal line into the corner. Here comes Deborah.
Golly, that was a hard hit right in the door, Phil.
Oh, sure was. You could see that she locked her brakes up, and when you lock the brakes up, a truck is not going to turn. She slides right in to Bobby East.
So the safety crews immediately helping out Bobby East and Deborah Renshaw. We'll clean this all up when we come back.
You know, for years, if you wanted to change the color on something at your house or on your street car or race car, you just picked up a standard old can of spray paint. But not anymore, because Craftsman now has a great new powder coat system. What I like about this is it's electrically charged and you don't even need an air compressor. So you get your item ready to go, you put your powder in right here, and check this out. It's just like a hair dryer. This thing covers the piece and you're ready to go, right? And you know what I love? There's all kinds of different colors to choose from, and all you got to do is get a different package of color and you're ready to go. Now that this thing's sprayed, I'm ready to go to the kitchen. Okay, and now I'm Chef Ray, but I'm not baking cookies today. I'm powder coating race car parts. Now, what you do is you put the item into a 400-degree oven for 20 minutes, and once you do, it's all done and ready to go. Let me show you a couple quick examples. Here's a steel air cleaner cover. Now, this one actually has been chromed, but you can buy this at the auto parts store, and it looked just like any other one. So what did I do? I powder coated it blue, and look how pretty that is. Now, you can also do it on aluminum, too. Here's an outside cover for an alternator that's aluminum, and let me tell you what, you are not going to crack or scrape that finish off of there, no doubt about it. How about a valve cover? You got a 55 Chevy you want to look nice? Well, I'll tell you what, you don't want it to be chrome, you want it to be red. And this in the oven is, no, boy, that's hot. No, I'm telling you, that's a hot product when we're talking about powder coat.
We got one more of those this year, don't we?
That's correct.
Okay.
And as the valve cover came out red, we are under red flag conditions here at Phoenix International Raceway. And the reason being is the trucks have come to stop in turn number 1.
You can see there Bobby East on the outside gets spun around and crashed. Most of the trucks make it underneath of him. Deborah locked up her brakes and slid into him as she got to the corner.
The problem is when you get a report that there's something happening in front of you, you lock your brakes up, then your truck won't turn, and you have no control. You can turn your steering wheel, but it's not going to turn. Deborah locked her brakes up, and she's going to make some pretty hard contact with the door at Bobby East. I'm glad to see him get out of that truck, along with Deborah, with no apparent injury.
So the field comes to stop just in front of the start-finish line. We're under red flag conditions. We'll get this one back underway. Only 19 laps remaining in the Chevy Silverado 150. And welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway. We're still under red flag conditions as the field has come to stop in front of the start-finish line. And if we look back a ways in this field, that's correct. We see the 46 and the 1, actually, of
that was
Ted
a 50,
Musgrave.
actually, that you marked down there, Michael.
That's okay.
This
You were
thing's
looking
not
for
as easy
46.
to operate as you think, but I do have this little gear I can pull if I want. Watch this.
We're watching.
Never mind. It's a great battle between these two. I mean, obviously, Dennis has a fast truck. He's driven from the back all the way up on the tailgate of Ted Musgrave.
Well, currently being shown in 5th is Ted Musgrave. Setzer being shown in 6th. Here are the point standings as they stand now. If it would finish this way, Ted Musgrave needs to finish 13th at Homestead next week and he would be the champion.
What a tremendous effort by Dennis Setzer to come from an early spin on a lap 2 or 3 or something like that, and he's right behind his point championship contender, Ted Musgrave, the leader. So if he passes him, that's a 10-point swing right there.
Setzer doing everything he has to do to make it a little bit easier for Homestead Miami next week. Let's recap how we have got to the point we are at in this race. Dennis Setzer early on getting spun around. He brings out the first caution, has a little bit of contact here from the 07.
Now you can see here the 07 spins out after that wreck. Got involved in another caution. Joey Miller just slips by the inside.
Lap 41, caution number 3, Aaron Crocker. The 4 checks dodge on the inside of the 13 of Chad Chapman. Loses control of the back end, makes some contact with the outside wall.
Fourth caution, Jimmy Spencer had led some laps, stayed out, thinking that he was going to use that track position to be able to get him a good finish. Well, blows the right front into the wall.
Caution number 5. Jack Sprague slides up the hill, makes contact, spins out Terry Cook. Rudiman to the bottom. Innocent spin. We've seen some guys get away with some things tonight.
Here's caution number 6. We see the 77 of Brendan Gunn made a slight bit of contact with the 17 of David Rudiman. When he turned his truck left to get off the 17, he lost it back in and around he went.
Most recently, and the reason we're under red flag conditions, Bobby East getting a little help there, gets back up into the wall, and then Deborah Renshaw, the number 8, comes in a little bit later, gets into the side of him, and they rest in between 1 and 2, and the safety crews doing their job to clean off the track, and that is why the trucks have been stopped on the front stretch. And so we have 19 laps of racing to go. When we come back, will Todd Bodine make it 2 in a row, or will Ron Hornaday get by him? The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed Channel is brought to you by the new Chevrolets, an American revolution. By Craftsman, celebrating 10 years tough of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. By Zales, be brilliant. And by High Endurance Oils from Mobil, official lubricants of NASCAR. Engines have been fired, the yellow flag being displayed, and that means they will head back around the track.
Rick, Michael, let's see if we can talk to our leader, Todd Bodine. Hey, Todd, this is Phil up in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, Philzy.
Todd, you're inside of 20 laps to go. It looked like 2 restarts ago, Johnny Benson was able to drive to your inside in the second restart just now. Ron Hornaday pushed you all the way into turn number 1. You having any problems on the restarts?
Yeah, I got a little problem with my shifter here. It's hanging up on me a little bit. Hopefully can keep going here and not have a mistake on this restart. You know, this Ron Hornaday behind me. He's restart king, and this Toyota Tundra's been awesome all night. As long as I keep in front, I think we pulled them off.
You're right. It looked like once you got out in front of Ron on that restart, you were able to drive away from him. So is this your most critical time of the rest of this race as the restart?
Oh, definitely. You know, it always is. I mean, it's so easy to make mistakes. You got to deal with lap trucks on the inside, and you know, if we can just get a clean start, we'll be just fine. My team did a great job getting me off pit road in front of Johnny that last pit stop, and you know, that's why we're up front right now.
All right, it's Michael. I just wanted to tell you, he bent your bumper on that last restart. He was on you, so I know you got to be focused here, so we'll let you go. Good luck, and have a good start.
Thanks, Michael. Yes, he gave me a little whiplash there, but we'll be all right.
Well, the king of restarts. 1 to go as they go across the start-finish line until we get the green flag. Michael?
Yeah, I thought I'd see if Johnny Benson had a second to tell us his thoughts. Johnny, it's Michael up the speed booth. You got anything for these cats?
If it goes green the rest of the way, I think we do, but these short runs are kind of hurting us a little bit, but Toyota certified used vehicles, Tundra is running great. Just need a long run here.
Well, we saw Hornaday get a better start than Todd last time. Or do you think maybe there could be some contact there, and you might get a chance to get around these guys on the start?
I'd take it however we can get it, Michael. I'll tell you what, just it should be exciting like every week. These truck races are great.
All right, Johnny, thank you. Go get them, buddy.
And so we've heard from first, and we've heard from third. Man we haven't heard from is in second. That's Ron Hornaday, but he speaks volumes when the green flag drops. So I think we may hear from Ron Hornaday here in about 5 seconds.
And for you Ron Hornaday fans, we tried to talk to him, but my radio broke up. Or he said he couldn't hear me anyway.
Well, here they come to the green flag. Can Todd Bodine hold off Ron Hornaday? Hornaday goes to the inside, now looks on the outside. He's all over the back of Todd Bodine.
Look at him drive up to the outside. Todd moves him up the hill.
Bodine holding him off as they go down the backstretch. This is exactly what he wanted. He wanted to be able to stay in front on the restart. Then he thought he could drive away.
Well,
Todd did what he had to do, didn't he, Michael?
He made a great move in turn 2, took up a little bit of the road, and then when he got to turn 3, Phil, he was able to distance Hornaday. Once Todd laid the truck to Hornaday, I think Hornaday said, okay, buddy, turnabout's fair play, I'm coming after you. But he just couldn't get there. Todd is driving away.
Look at Dennis Setzer going to the inside, 3 wide. Bill Lester on the high side, Ted Musgrave just in front of Dennis Setzer. Inside of 15 laps of racing to go.
Dennis Setzer sees the one of Ted Musgrave. He knows what he has to do. He needs to get by Ted Musgrave. If he passes him, that's 10 more points.
Then all of a sudden, that 4th place finish becomes more and more important as Ted can just feel Dennis's presence. He knows he's got to perform in order to win this championship.
How about this 14 trucker? Rick Crawford moves to the inside of JB.
Wow, look at that power move. Past JB into turn 3.
See if Johnny can do the crossover. He's trying to do it on the inside. Oh, they make a little contact.
Johnny Benson on the inside, Crawford on the outside. They go across the start-finish line, almost dead even, and that is a race for 3rd position. Wendy, what's happening with Rick?
Rick Crawford's been pretty quiet on the radio, just slight air pressure adjustment all night long. Remember, this is the same setup that he won with earlier this year in Loudon. Cowboy Starlin definitely has the 14 truck tuned in Phoenix.
Wow, he shoots that thing down deep into the corners, Phil. Johnny's battling, though, on the inside, trying to take that position back.
Getting a little bit loose on the inside. He did not make any contact with Rick Crawford. Rick's going to try to use up a little bit of the racetrack. He squeezes him down ever so slightly.
Rick Crawford trying to take away the position. Crawford in the 14. Johnny Benson in the 23. Benson, the preferred line down on the inside.
Watch this 14, though. Look how far he dives down in the corner. Takes the advantage back away from Johnny Benson.
What a great side-by-side battle. Look at Johnny fight that truck. He drives across the apron to get that truck to turn.
4 laps now. They have been side by side. Johnny Benson the inside, Crawford on the outside.
And Crawford isn't cutting him any slack, Phil. If he gets that nose just a slight bit ahead of Benson, he chops him off going into the corner, making it very difficult for Johnny to hang on down there in that lower groove.
Remember, this is for 3rd. 1st and 2nd have checked out on these guys. They've got almost 3 seconds, just over 3 seconds between what's the battle for 3rd and our leader, Todd Bodine.
Big gap right there that our leaders have, but Johnny Benson will not give up. He fights back on the inside.
As hard as he's fighting and as tight as Rick Crawford's keeping him pinned down, Phil, I don't see any way they can avoid contact. These 2 trucks will get together.
Well, 2 veterans. This is great racing. This is great side-by-side racing. We have not seen a lot of contact.
There goes Johnny.
On the left side, you see the battle for the championship. Ted Musgrave, Dennis Setzer, they're racing for 5th. On the right side, we see Johnny Benson making the pass, holding on to 3rd in front of Rick Crawford.
Wow, that was a great battle. I didn't think those 2 guys could continue running side by side as aggressively as they were without hitting.
We've seen so many guys get... Rick Crawford makes some contact with the outside wall coming off turn number 2.
It's easy to do over there, Phil, as you well know.
Let's get a look at it as the trucks come around. I think we'll be able to see the right side. He has not lost any positions at this point. See how much damage he may have. Not a whole lot of damage, it doesn't look like, Michael.
Just a little bit of wall paint on that right front tire you can see there, and some sparks off the valence. He might have bent that valence down. Be interesting.
We saw that in Kyle Busch last week.
Be interesting to see if he can keep up that type of pace.
Here goes Setzer trying to make the pass on Musgrave. These are for very important points in our championship race. Dennis Setzer trying to make the pass on Ted Musgrave.
This is our championship battle right here. Look at them side by side, just inches apart.
They both know how valuable each point is. And if Dennis can get around Ted, that's 10 points more than he has than Dennis.
And it makes a statement, Michael. It makes a statement. I'm coming after you. I'm going after this championship.
He just made a statement. And now, His spotter and crew chief just made the comment, now go get that 14 for me. 7 laps of racing to go. Dennis Setzer moves into 5th position. He looks to Rick Crawford to take over 4th.
Got a great side-by-side battle behind this between the 17 and the 50. There it is right there. There's David Rudeman on the inside, the 50 of Todd Cleaver. And look at Matt Kraft and the 88 Menard Chevrolet join that battle.
Looks like Rudeman's got a little bit better truck, but man, as we saw with Rick Crawford and Johnny Benson, it's hard to make him.
Are you out of breath?
Yeah, this is killing me.
This is for 7th. We saw a battle earlier for 5th that Dennis Setzer won over Musgrave. Then we saw the battle, obviously, before that between Johnny Benson and Rick Crawford. That was for 3rd. So we've got side-by-side battles going on all over the racetrack, predominantly up front.
We've had this all year. They can't make up their mind where they want to run.
What a great move by Matt Crafton. Drives to the outside of the 50 truck of Todd Cleaver. That's a battle for what? We've got 8th position right there.
And he's bringing Skinner with him. Both of them trying to go around the outside of Cleaver. And there's Mike Bliss in that 16 truck looking to the bottom, trying to make a move as well.
There's the 15 truck of Kyle Busch. Remember, he got the free pass. He's back in this fight for the top 10.
It's race number 25 or 24 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Only one race after this. And as Michael had mentioned, we've seen this all season long, side-by-side battling, great racing, and now Matt Crafton taking over the spot from the 50 of Todd Cleaver.
How cool, I know Todd Bodine will get really mad if he hears me say this. How cool would a green-white checkered be?
I think he would be very mad at you if he heard you say that.
Well, I'm not wishing for one. I just said it'd be pretty cool if it happened.
It wouldn't be the first time we've had a green-white checker.
These guys can't make up their mind what they want to do.
Side by side, Skinner into this battle.
Here comes the 16 of Mike Bliss on the outside. That's Chevy Silverado. Here comes Kyle Busch, the 15, going to try to follow Mike Bliss by the 50 of Todd Cleaver. Oh, Todd Cleaver got big time loose. He drove across the apron, got completely sideways, 3 wide.
3 wide as they go across the start-finish line and make their way into turn number 1. As they are doing that, our leader, Todd Bodine, is making his way through 3 and 4. He comes out of turn number 4, and Todd Bodine will see the white flag. 1 mile to go for Bodine.
Well, he knows there's not going to be a green-white checker anymore. He got the white flag. If the caution was to come out right now, it would be an official race. Todd's got clear sailing to the finish.
All clear. Coming to the checkers.
Let's not tell him I said that.
Down the back stretch into 3 and 4. The final turns for Todd Bodine. This will be repeat winner or back-to-back winner. It's Todd Bodine coming out of 4. He wins the Chevy Silverado 150.
Ron Hornaday comes along in second. Here comes Johnny Benson in third. Rick Crawford able to take the 4th spot. Dennis Setzer finishes 5th, and he gains points on Ted Musgrave.
How big is that? Like you said, Phil, he gained points, and he makes a statement. We're not done, Ted. Just remember us when we go to Miami this weekend. Keep your mind on us instead of yourself, and maybe that'll give us a bit of an advantage.
Todd Bodine with his 6th career NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series win. This just his 39th start in the Truck Series. And with his crew chief, Wendy Venerini.
Todd Bodine had 3 wins prior to tonight, but Mike Hilmy, you did not bring home that winning truck. You decided to bring home a new chassis and bring it right here to Phoenix. Why did you bring a different truck?
This is a truck that they run last year. In 7 of the 9 races, had 2 wins. She was getting jealous sitting at home, so we had to bring her back to have a little fun.
Now, you told your guys, don't relax yet. You got a lot of work to do before Homestead because we're going to make it 3 in a row.
Well, that's it. You know, that's what this team is all about. We'll go enjoy this for about 10, 15 minutes, then we're going to go home and focus on Homestead.
All right, they are a team on a mission.
Todd Bodine, we saw this site just a week ago. He stops underneath the flag stand. He's going to ask for the checkered flag. Has already started his celebration. Climbing out of the truck, letting these good folks of Phoenix know he is very appreciative of them cheering him on to win number 6 in his career.
Good catch.
Good catch. Todd's affectionately known as the Onion, and not sure why.
Maybe,
who knows,
his hair or lack of it.
What's
Todd Bodine, the Benefactor of today's Mobil 1 move of the race, brought to you by High Endurance Oils from Mobil, official motor oil of NASCAR.
And here it is, the last pit stop right here. We talked about how important it was. His team got him out in front of the leader coming into the pits, Johnny Benson. See Johnny right there, you see him drop him off the jack and not going to beat Todd Bodine out, and that was the winning pit stop, the Mobil 1 move of the race. And there's a celebratory pit crew right there.
Todd Bodine claiming the 8th win for Toyota in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It's the first time Toyota has won at Phoenix. Speed Channel's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series post-race show is presented by Craftsman.
Check this out, Rick. After the race, Todd's getting ready to drive off and do his burnout. Look who comes running out to say congratulations. That's Ron Hornaday. And you know what, Phil? Ron gave him all he had. He beat him down into turn 1, beat all over him through the corner, and Todd stood up to the challenge. When you're a competitor like Ron Hornaday and you give it all you got, and a guy's able to take your best punch, you want to congratulate him. Say, great job. Wendy, look at there. There's old Todd Bodine.
It's a very wet victory lane right now. Back-to-back wins for Todd Bodine. He dives into his crew. The 4th win of the season for this team, which ties for the most wins this season. He ties Dennis Setzer for 4 wins this season. Todd, what an awesome race. And you are doing nothing but complimenting your team the last 10 minutes.
This group's incredible. I mean, they felt bad that one restart or one pit stop when Johnny got in front of us. They made up for it on the last one. Beat them out. That's what allowed us to get out front. Clean air on this Toyota Tundra. They weren't going to stop us. I mean, it was just awesome. Incredible. Got a couple sponsors, Racer's Edge, racersedgeteam.com. Go on, check it out. Great site. We have friends here from Ashley Furniture. What a crew. I am so proud to be a part of this team. You can't imagine. I work for these guys. They don't work for me. I get to have the fun. They do the work.
Now, you joined this team midway into the season. You're sitting 3rd in points right now. Do you think if you were in this truck all season long, you would have been contending for the championship?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, as consistent as we are, I mean, a bad race for us is to run 6th or 8th. You know, as consistent as this Toyota Tundra is every single week. Mike Hillman, Mike Jr. have done a great job. I mean, it's a shame that we weren't together, but, you know, everything happens for a reason. We appreciate each other better. We're together for a long time. We're signed up for next year, looking for a full sponsor. This is a great team.
Now, the season's not over yet. Mike Hillman told me your guys are going to go back to work after today and get ready for Homestead. You want to make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, that's why every week we're going to celebrate now, but tomorrow we're going to start working for next week, and that's why we're successful like this every week.
All right, go celebrate your victory with their team. Everybody excited in victory lane tonight. A much deserving win for Todd Bodine and his team. Ray?
Well, Wendy, we're standing by here with Dennis Setzer. A nice 10-point swing there when you got by the 1. It was exciting racing for us to watch. How about from your viewpoint?
It was. You know, Ted and I was pretty evenly matched. You know, I'm just proud of our team Silverado guys. These guys got us back in position to be competitive right there. I spun on lap 1 or 2 right there. Dug us a little deeper hole right out of the box. But come down pit road 2 or 3 times, these guys kept passing tough trucks to pass on pit road. So thanks to these guys, they helped tremendously right there. But you know, our truck was pretty good all night. We struggled a little bit on the long runs right there. We got tight in the center, which about everyone out there did. We kindly followed suit, everyone. But, you know, just proud of Silverado. This is another manufacturer championship for these guys. Really proud of these guys right there. They sponsored a race here the last couple weeks, and, you know, Chevrolet deserves a bunch of credit for what all they've done this series.
Now, you've got to load your guns, though, to go to Homestead. I mean, what kind of a deal you got to pull off down there?
Well, you know, we need to go to win the race right there and hope Ted cooperates with us a little bit and gives us a little breathing room right there. But, you know, these guys, they're going to go loaded with both barrels every week on our team Silverado, and that's what we got to do. You know, we kind of struggled there for a few weeks. I don't know why or how or what. None of us do. We all put the effort out, and you know, it's good to get back in the top 5 mode right here. Now we feel like we can go and try to win a race again right now.
Okay, good luck to you. That is Dennis Setzer, finishes ahead of Ted Musgrave, comes home 5th here at Phoenix.
Take a look at the unofficial results. Bodine with his 4th win of the season. Ron Hornaday, great battle for 2nd. Johnny Benson drops back to 3rd.
Rick Crawford, nice top 5 finish.
Brandon Witt recovered to finish 19th. A troublesome night for him, though.
Look at Scott Lynch, number 62 truck, finishes on the lead lap in 18th.
A couple laps down. Chase Montgomery, Brad Keselowski.
Schrader struggled all night. Aaron Crocker had a crash. Deborah Renshaw had a crash, and Craven blew up.
Take a look at the point standings through 24 races. 1 to go. Ted Musgrave leads Dennis Setzer by 58 points. Musgrave, all he has to do is finish 10th, and he will win the 2005 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship. But that's not as easily done as it is said. Speed Channel's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series post-race show is brought to you by Craftsman, celebrating 10 years tough of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Wendy.
Ted Musgrave has a 58-point lead now on Dennis Setzer. They just told me all you have to do is finish 10th in Homestead, and you have it wrapped. That's a
You never know. Well, yeah, it's a feat. I mean, Homestead, anything goes down there. A lot of trucks will head down there, a lot of good trucks. Hey, anything can happen. Like I say, it's not over. One time it's over when they drop that checkered flag at the end of that race and the official results are out. So we'll go there, try to run as hard as we can, and see what happens. Just give it all.
It was a shootout between Setzer and Musgrave all night long. Ted Musgrave comes home 6th. Ray?
Well, Wendy, let's hear from Ron Hornaday. Finished 2nd. Strong run there, but boy, I thought on a couple of those restarts you were going to go after him, and he just ran you up the racetrack.
Yeah, Todd kind of knows the way I race there, and that one time he gave me a little brake job, which is cool. He didn't brake job, he just slowed everything down and stacked everybody up, so I just decided to push him down the straightaway. So he knew I was going to go to the outside, so he blocked the inside and went to the outside, and he had just enough where he can come up on me. But a good run for our Silverado, and I tried my hardest to get that Chevrolet in victory lane, but we'll try it next time. All the guys did an awesome job. I got to say happy birthday to my daughter Candace, and really want to win that for John Paul. You know, he's up there with my mom and Dale Earnhardt, so a lot of thoughts and prayers there.
You got one more race to go. We'll see if Hornaday can pull it off at Homestead.
You know, someone that passed this past week is a real friend of racing, Dick Hutchison. So,
and one of the real stars of the sport back in the 60s.
Yeah.
We'll be back to close out the show after this. And it will come down to Homestead Miami Speedway. Just like the Truck Series is famous for, only 1 year it has come to, or they have not had to go to the last race to determine a champion. But it will have to happen this year.
And sometimes they go to the last lap trying to figure it out, and wouldn't be surprised to see that happen.
How about
Michael,
15 minutes
sometimes it's been
afterwards?
15 minutes after the last lap to figure it out. But what a great racetrack. How about the improvements they've made to that racetrack? I raced on 2 different configurations. You've been on all 3 different configurations, and this one looks like it's a very, very competitive race.
We're going to see the best race ever next week. And, you know, when Wendy said to Ted, you just have to finish 10th, Ted wanted to say,
That's not that easy.
You know how hard it is to do that? And he's going to have to think about that all week. And Dennis is just going to walk around and say, we got to go get it and get all we got.
We got to win. That's
right.
all.
Todd Bodine, the winner in Phoenix. That's 2 in a row for Todd Bodine. 1 Texas. And now is 1 Phoenix, looking to make it 3 in a row at Homestead, Miami. Currently 3rd in the points. He doesn't have a chance to win the championship, but he's doing everything he possibly can to finish in the top 2. His crew doing a great job getting him back out in front of Johnny Benson. The restart at the very end was good enough for Todd Bodine to hang on and win in Phoenix. Win number 4 for 2005. Thanks for watching Speed Channel. Join in next week as we go to Homestead, Miami, and find out who the 2005 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion is.